guys, welcome back to another week of Autastic, your comedian's guide to autism. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Kirk Smith.
And I'm Graham K.
Boom.
Welcome back to our second ever podcast that is recorded on video for people on YouTube so they can see our 3 out of 5 star faces and
Our apartment placement.
and our apartment placement, as Peter would call it. Kirk's apartment placement. We don't live together. I'd like to make that abundantly clear.
Which would change the dynamic of the podcast for sure.
We'd probably be a little more successful.
It'd be the odd couple for sure,
Yeah.
though.
Um,
Now it's garbage. That's my favorite
I don't
scene.
get that. I'm too young for that reference.
You son of a gun.
And that feels good. This is the Comedian's Guide to Autism. You have an autistic son. I have an autistic brother.
That's true.
A person who has autism, who's my brother. I don't know. Every 3 months. Anyway. Hey, you know what I want to talk about?
What's up?
So I was a guest on a podcast with Canadian autistic comedians who have autism in Canada.
Okay.
I talked about it a few months ago, but I've been meaning to bring this up.
Not with us, you didn't.
I'm on a week in review. I said it briefly a few months ago.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, you have the best memory in the world, so maybe I
Well,
did.
for this, I remember when we talked. I've never heard this story. Okay.
Anyway, I was on a guest star podcast. It was fun. I can't remember the name of the podcast. I should. Sorry.
Great plug.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, they promoted me as the guest, and they promoted Autastic, this podcast, with this logo right here. The logo you're looking at on your phone right now. And it has the puzzle pieces in the background, which is like the sort of autism logo.
Somehow. I mean, it's connected to Autism Speaks somehow. But
Autism Speaks, which is there's a lot of controversy surrounding Autism Speaks.
Yeah.
We were just trying to make a logo.
At the time, and in fairness, we started this almost 6 years ago.
It was a different time.
Yeah. We knew a lot less about autism, too.
We did know a lot less about autism. Anyway, a couple of their listeners who have autism were like, why do they have this signal of hate in their logo?
Oh, because Autism Speaks?
Autism Speaks, and I think maybe the puzzle pieces are offensive. Because maybe it's like they're missing pieces or something. But this guy on the message, he never responded to me because I was like, oh, I'm sorry, what does it mean? Because the guy on the message board, he was like, basically he was talking like it was...
A swastika?
Not the Union, what's the other one?
Union Jack? What are you talking about?
No, the Union fought in the Civil War.
The Confederacy?
Confederate flag.
Oh.
To him, it was like talking like it was a Confederate flag type thing. And yeah, I have the worst memory in the world. Anyway, so do we need to redo the logo?
I mean, send us your notes what you guys think, but I don't think so. To me, the puzzle pieces always stand for somebody like my son who we're trying to piece together different parts of his life that are a little bit... not all put together like all of us. Just a work in progress, and
Right.
we're all just working towards being a complete person, and some people are in different parts of their journey, but to me it was never... I think Autism Speaks does what it does, and some people really hate it, but I'm not part of that directly. We do our own thing. We have our own podcast. It's called Autastic, and it's about our loved ones who have autism and meeting them where they are. Man, this is a tough one right off the top.
I came in hot.
Really hot.
Yeah.
And you didn't even give me a preview. We've been here for an hour setting up lights. I didn't know
lights.
it at all.
No. Well, that's like I was coming hot.
We could redo it. What do you think? You think we should redo it?
None of our listeners have ever said anything.
I've never heard that.
Yeah. But I don't think many of our listeners have autism. I think a few do. I know a few do.
Well, I know some. We get notes.
Yeah.
Bart sends me a message every month.
Bart.
I'd say. Yeah.
Shout out to
The high
Bart.
functioning. Yeah. We. Yeah. Let us know what you guys think. If No promises that we'll redo it immediately, but we'll get to it eventually.
People are offended. We'll change it.
for sure.
There's no question. But I had never heard about this, and it's been ruminating in my head. I just looked at our because we have for our listeners who aren't watching, which are, again,
It's on my book too.
almost 100% of you. It's on your book. We have a little iPad set up with the logo in the background here. Just a little eye candy for the viewers. And
Can't all be white socks. There's got to be a little something extra.
anyway, I was just looking at it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that little picadillo in my head. I should bring that up. But anyway, weekend review. How is JJ doing? What's going on?
JJ's good. It was midsummer last. What day is today? Today's Tuesday, so it was. I think it was over the weekend where they do this. It's the high point of the sun. I think right, the longest day of the summer, and then they do like a
Who's they?
Sweden. Sorry, the Norwegian countries do this like dance around in the celebration of nature kind of thing, and outdoor dance and whatever, and it's light the whole night, and he was not super impressed. I guess it was really hot, which in the north of Sweden is like 80. Like that's really hot for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like it doesn't get that hot. You know, it's like I don't know what it is, like 26 or something. And they're like, man, it's so hot. I'm like, well,
Yeah, it's when I went to Newfoundland for shows,
Newfies.
and it was they consider that a slur.
Really?
Yeah, which I think is hilarious.
I'll stop using it.
Yeah, I was like,
I
okay.
don't think I've ever said that since I.
Yeah. But anyway, I was and it was the same thing. It was like 20. It was, 75,
Like, oh, it's sweltering.
and they were just on their porch, like, "Bye, Jesus."
That's a slur.
Yeah.
I'm gonna swear. I swear.
Bye, God.
Yeah,
It's hot. It's
That's
hot, and
some
they're
of
just
my-
like waving their hand,
Some
like
of my big regrets.
Yeah.
I never did that with that Yuck Yucks closed. Yeah, Newfoundland.
it's the icebergs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I am going to Alaska in a few weeks. Come check me out if you're on a cruise on Carnival Cruise.
They'll have no choice. They'll be on a cruise.
They'll have to. How's Peter doing?
Peter is doing pretty well. He has a new volunteer that meets him on Thursdays. So he's got like a Wednesday, Thursday. He's got 2 volunteers that meet him twice
Okay.
a week. They go on walks. The new one's a girl. I was like, is she pretty? Is she a bit of a babe?
Oh no. What
He's
is-
like, I guess so, sorta. So he's being polite, but I think he's excited. and they go on. So he's got a guy that comes to him on Wednesday, and another volunteer, female volunteer that comes in on Thursday, and then on Fridays he goes to my parents' house to clean up the garbage, like it left in their sort of like little condo area.
Mm.
My mom got him a job. She's the condo board president, and a little bit of
Nepotism.
going on. But it's a job. But it's a job that needs to be done, so no one's upset. And it's like $100. It's like nothing.
There's probably not 1,000 people applying for $100 job.
No.
Cleaning garbage.
No.
Yeah.
But he likes it, and so he sees my parents on Friday, and then on Sunday he goes over to their house for dinner every Sunday. So he's seeing people 4 days a week, which is pretty good. And then he goes for long walks every day. But the new developments is that for his birthday, my girlfriend sent him a card. Did I talk about this last week?
Yeah, you get the email address. And
Yeah,
just send
yeah.
an email, thank you.
But so that happened with my girlfriend, where he was like emailing her more than he was supposed to. But our friend Greg Stone, did I say this?
Yep, he gave the special toys.
Special toys. But Peter emailed him. I said, okay, Peter,
Send a thank you.
yeah.
Nice.
And he and now and anyway, so Peter's emailing Greg Stone, a hilarious comedian, and Peter wrote him like a really nice thank you letter.
Mm.
It was very cute, and I was like, and then now I got a text from Greg saying, by the way, your brother and I are exchanging pictures of our figurines. I showed the text to my girlfriend, and her heart exploded. It was like too much. She would, like I've never seen her like that noise. And
This is
yes.
a family podcast, but there's some easy jokes there that I'm leaving alone.
Oh, that,
This
yeah.
is a
Well,
family podcast.
that's right. Good point. And I walked into that. No comment. But anyway, they're continually exchanging photos, and I was talking to Peter about it yesterday, and I said, so Greg was telling me you're exchanging photos because Peter's he always feels bad that he's an adult who plays with toys, and he's always asking me for other examples of other adults who do, because I tell him that it's okay for adults to play with toys, and so he's really excited that Greg is into it, and they're into the exact same stuff, Spider-Man and Star Wars. Greg does not have autism, to my knowledge.
He doesn't, but there's a couple other guys at the cellar who do.
That for sure. There's a couple.
Which kind of leads us in our news, but we'll get to it later.
Right. But anyway, I was talking to Peter. I was like, "Hey, so you've been exchanging pictures with Greg? That's nice. Remember, not too much now." He's like, "Yeah, yesterday I tried to send 15 photos, but it didn't go through." I was like, "Well, maybe just do 5." I was like, "Okay, I'll try that."
I mean, if you ever figured out how to get him to, if you had Greg's number, it would just be a constant stream of texts of just
No.
pictures.
No.
Greg
Greg would have to block my brother.
And your girlfriend would stop making noises. And we don't want that.
Nope.
We want her to be happy, Greg to be happy, everybody to be happy.
Everyone's happy.
Except old Graham, because he was just on the Tonight Show, so it bums him out. But everybody else is happy.
Doesn't bum me out. I'm just having trouble accepting happiness. You know, do you achieve like a big goal? And you're like, now.
Well, it's kind of a letdown.
It's like a postpartum thing.
Yeah, no letdown. What's it called? It's, it doesn't bring you the happiness you expected it to. I think all life is that.
Yeah. But I am really happy about it, though.
It's great. It's a big win.
That kind of thing, it takes time. Like, it trickles in slowly.
It's a big win.
I exist. That's all I wanted everyone to know when I'm dead. I did comedy.
People know you're definitely a human.
I did comedy.
We have 270 episodes or something of this. They know.
That's right. Well,
didn't you once low-key say this is like the best thing you've ever done?
I think this is the best thing I've ever done.
And the least one you're proud of? You didn't say that last part.
I didn't say that.
I know, I'm just teasing.
This is the most popular thing I've ever done.
That's
this is
funny.
a side project. It's by far the most popular thing I've ever done.
This is one of 5 podcasts you've done.
This is one of 1, 2, 3. This is one of 4 podcasts
4,
I've done.
Sorry. Should we do the news?
Let's do in the news, because there are a bunch of comedians that I think have autism,
Well, I think it allows
but
you to
they don't know.
to see the world from a different point of view, which can often be funny.
Absolutely. And the bluntness can be
Yeah.
very funny. It's sort of cut or dry. One comedian that I started out with who has got a lot of success writing for television, Michael Lawrence. And I said this a few months ago on the podcast when he came out, but he said, I've been diagnosed with autism. It makes a lot of sense. It helps me see the world in a different way. He wrote this really nice, endearing post.
I haven't seen it. I'll look him up. He was always, he's always a nice guy. I gave him a few rides around L.A. I don't think he drove at the time. I don't know if he drives now, but
I don't know if he drives
it's
either.
before he got married.
I don't think he drives. But he's married, and he's a successful TV writer. But he's definitely got a wild beard. Glasses are always dirty. Only wears wrestling or comic book T-shirts.
And he's not 20.
And he's like 38.
Yeah.
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 But he's got a wife that loves him, and
And he's very funny.
he's very funny, and he's a talented writer.
He's a great bit about he wouldn't be upset if his wife cheating on him, but if he walked in on his wife supporting another man's failed career, he'd be like, "That's our thing."
That's funny.
He's such a lunatic. He's very funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is in Golf Weekly, Golf Week, which I don't think we've read from.
Yeah, it's been a while since we read from Golf Week for Autism News.
I honestly don't know if I knew Golf Week existed until an hour ago.
I knew Golf Digest existed.
Golf Digest I've heard of. The title is I'm Still Learning Every Day.
My dad definitely knows.
Your dad's into it?
Oh, Golf Digest?
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. It might be Golf Weekly.
My
Who knows?
dentist is into it. I've seen
Yeah.
it like at a dentist office or
Yeah,
something.
it's a dentist. It's a,
Yeah.
yeah.
Back when doctors had magazines because they weren't concerned about you getting bugs from other people before you went into the doctor's office. Hey, all you sick people, touch each other's same paper. Now go in together. Anyway, that's a different bit. I'm still learning every day, says Bill Mayfair, as he copes with 2019 autism diagnosis. Akron, Ohio. When he travels on the PGA Tour for the championship events, Billy Mayfield carries a written report of his 2019 autism spectrum disorder test with him. If he wonders why he acted or reacted a certain way during a rough day, he'll read through the 8 pages and realize what happened is normal for him. You don't want to do it every day, I guess. But you don't want to do it every day, but it's okay. And I guess I'm a little bit easier on myself, he says. Mayfield, 54, revealed his diagnosis is a high-functioning level similar to, revealed his autism diagnosis is a high-functioning level similar to Asperger's syndrome in an April interview for Sports Illustrated. That I've heard of. Sports Illustrated I've heard of. Yeah, I still love Sports Illustrated.
Me too.
After playing for the PGA Tour for 30 years and the Championship Tour for nearly 3 months, he said, Friday after his round at the Bridgestone Senior Players Championship at Firestone County Club, that's a big mouthful, that he never considered giving up professional golf. No, I never even thought about that, Mayfield said. When I realized I had it and read the diagnosis, I said, this could really help me. Now I realize why I do get stuck sometimes and why I do have this problem sometimes. It's been a couple of years now, and I'm still learning every day and struggling every once in a while. But when I do, I say, you're frustrated, but it's okay. It's not always your fault. This is part of the autism, too.
Yeah.
In a way.
That would help.
Yeah. Are you making fun or are you being serious?
Why would I be making fun?
Oh, I don't know.
Just an absolute lunatic?
I thought you were talking about yourself because we've talked about sometimes teasingly that you... Never mind. I thought you were like...
Oh, that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about yourself. In a way, the report helped Mayfield make sense of some of his life. It's very hard when I was diagnosed with it. I was like everyone else. I was in denial, Mayfield said. I was normal, comma. Everyone else was messed up. I went that way for a long time until a doctor did this test on me. I read the report and the things started popping up in my head, and I'm going, this is why I've had problems in college. This is why I've had problems in high school. This is why sometimes I can't see my notes out here and why I write everything down. Why I can't see my notes out here and why I write everything down. I'm not sure what that part means. You shouldn't be ashamed of it because that's who you are and what you have to do. Mayfield pulled out his yardage book on Saturday and showed reminders that say, stay in the moment, that were written inside. Okay, now I see what it's saying. Now he understands why he hated school and sought refuge in golf. It's like sometimes a light bulb goes off. I always used to beat myself up and say I'm not smart, I didn't do good in school. But I'd go practice and I'd love to be on the golf course because I was myself. Baseball, football, other team sports were what everybody else is around, and I didn't do well. But when I came out to the golf course, when I could go to the range and hit balls all by myself and be in my own little world, take my time, I did very well. The peace. Mayfield's wife, Tammy, pushed him to get tested in November after he's disqualified from the championship tour Invesco QQQ Championship. Now the couple plans to start the Bill and Tammy Mayfield Foundation to help parents and families of others close to those who have autism. There's nothing out there for the parents, the girlfriends, the wives, the children. I don't know about that. This podcast is here.
It's true.
How about you have 3 children and one of them has autism? What do the other 2 do? How do they function? You don't want to say they're being neglected, but you only have so much time that you have to put into the first one. Even when someone who has... Let me see how long this is. Oh, boy.
I like that.
This is a lot of golf. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I completely understand what he's talking about, though, in terms of not that I have autism, but when I had a lot of trouble in school and I couldn't understand why I was doing poorly, and I really enjoyed being a goalie in hockey. It's a very solitary thing. It's not a team. It's a position in a team sport where I'm doing something completely different.
You're on your own.
I'm on my own. It's not I always thought of it as a different sport. They're playing hockey. I'm playing goalie. By myself. And I would go to the outdoor rinks in the winter and strap on just my pads and my skates and practice like movements. I'd love doing that. And I'm, and then meanwhile I'm like failing school. My dad was always like, why can't you just do that? You're such a hard worker in that specific thing. Why can't you just work somewhat as hard in school? I'm like, because I don't understand any of it.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel stupid. It makes me literally want to kill myself. This makes me feel good. Of course I want to do the thing that makes me feel good. You know? And that's very similar to comedy. It's like individual. I'm at peace, I'm at home, I can work on it, tinker away. I don't have to worry about people yelling at me, not understanding what they're saying.
You don't have to be able to skate backwards.
If you're a goalie, you got to skate backwards.
Oh, you do?
Oh, that's yeah.
Oh, I thought that was one of the things you just stand there kind of.
No, you gotta skate. You know what you are? You're like a king in chess. One move, one move, one
Oh, okay,
move, one
right.
move, one. You can go anywhere one move, but you always gotta go. It's like
That's
you're
a
not
good
going
analogy,
far,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you're like
Whenever I see the defensive men like skating
backwards.
full speed, I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah.
I can skate a little bit, but I can't. But backwards and full speed, I'm like,
Yeah.
that seems like the hardest. But I don't know. The fighting
It's
I
pretty
like.
hard. Yeah. You'd
Yeah.
be good at that.
Yeah, I'm not terrible. I was bullied as a kid.
You'd be good power forward in hockey. You're perfect size.
What is that? Where you just grab people and like push them?
No, the guy like a guy who's like around the net a lot.
Okay, got it.
The opposition's net, tipping pucks in,
Johnny on the spot,
trying to like grappling for space,
boxing people out basically.
cross-checking people in the back, boxing people out, trying to tip stuff in, getting rebounds, shoving them in.
It's great. Yeah.
After the whistle, punching each other in the face.
Little garbage man. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, you'd love that.
I was great at that in high school.
Yeah.
There's a lot to that. Last paragraphs. Mayfield believes. Okay, so he's talking about. He goes into details about his golf. You can read this article. It's good. It's good. But now that he's come to grips with it and has been publicly discussing his autism, Mayfield says he's heard from people who read his story and were prompted to get tested. And he said some professional athletes have even thanked him because they now know they have it. Mayfield believes college and professional coaches and owners are starting to realize it's worth investing the time and resources to help players. Coaches and owners are starting to realize that some of the athletes on the high spectrum may be that franchise player. Like we've talked about this. Kawhi Leonard, clearly.
Yeah.
They're winning, he just stares off into the middle distance.
Yeah.
They're losing, he stares off into the middle distance.
Yeah.
Instead of looking at the person and saying, we can't work with him, push him off to the side. If you give him maybe an hour or two more of work, he could be your star.
Kawhi Leonard is maybe like a top 5 basketball player in the world.
Yeah, sorry. He plays for the Clippers. They're rebounding against the Suns. Right now it's
But he's
3-2.
not playing because he's hurt. And then Mike Breen, who's an announcer, who was so Kawhi Leonard is injured and he's in the booth watching the game from like a luxury box. And something huge happened in the game, and then the camera switched from the court to Kawhi Leonard in the booth. And he had the crowd was erupting, and Kawhi Leonard was just staring forward, watching the game. And then Mike Breen, the announcer, goes, and as a joke, and Kawhi Leonard is going crazy. It was pretty funny. But
did he get heat for that?
No.
Okay, good. That's a funny joke.
It's a funny joke, but what if he has autism?
Well, I don't
Which
think
he probably has high-functioning
does.
autism.
He clearly does.
Yeah, but we're not doctors.
Yeah, but I mean,
We're self-diagnosing me as mild, and then Kawhi Leonard more than me. But yeah, but he's got something. But you know, if Kawhi Leonard got diagnosed like this golfer, Mike Breen wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't, but I don't think he'd get in trouble. He didn't know at the time. And
He would get in trouble.
You think he would?
Oh, he might lose his career if he.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard gets diagnosed next week. They go back and look.
No.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. He
No.
wouldn't have gotten. He didn't know.
No,
Yeah.
of course, yes.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
But Mike Breen would be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He'd probably have to issue some statement.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny.
I laughed. Anyway, I like this story about this golfer because it shows that getting a diagnosis, it's another example. It's the same thing Mike Lawrence, the comedian we were talking about earlier, said in his post, in his Instagram post, which is about a month old if you want to look it up. He said very, very similar sentiment. The diagnosis was a relief.
Yeah.
It wasn't, oh, no, I have this disease. It was a roadmap to figure out why. It was almost like a release. Like, oh, this is why the problem is.
I've told this.
I'm crazy or
Yeah.
I'm something wrong is happening.
I told this before, but I went to like 8 schools, 3 high schools, and it wasn't until I was like 32 or something where I figured out, oh yeah, that's not normal. Everybody else doesn't go to 8 schools, and you're always the new guy, and then
Yeah.
you always are a size where somebody could pick a fight with you, and then they beat up the tall guy, and so then you have to fight. It took me forever to figure that out. I just thought, yeah, you're the new kid, so then you have to fight.
Yeah, it's like jail.
Yeah, you're new. Of course they don't like you. You're new. Duh. But I can only imagine like if you're not. Oh yeah, that part's hard for you. You have autism. It's like that's okay. You need to use these tools. It'll help you.
I'm not sure I understand the analogy, but okay.
Well, just the insight of being able to understand your history and how that affects you.
Oh, okay.
Versus and just because you're not like everybody else, that doesn't make anything wrong. Nobody's wrong. The other person's not wrong. You're not wrong. You're just different. And so you get these little tools, and maybe it's a stretch. I don't know. I felt like, to me, that was, as you get older, you learn things about yourself, and you learn why you do certain behaviors. Yeah.
For sure. Well, did we do another episode?
I think we did. If you're on the fence about this stuff, I would get myself tested. There's no downside.
I think I should get tested.
Yeah. I mean, there's no real downside to it. It's like,
Yeah.
And besides, if you don't like the results, keep it confidential. It's not like you're not required to issue a public press release.
No, but I mean, clearly, if I got tested and I got tested as positive for autism,
Well,
I wouldn't keep it secret from my Autistic podcast.
Yeah, but you're a comedian who has an autism podcast. The average person who's a banker doesn't.
Good point.
And they don't have to.
Good point.
That's that's it for us this week. As always, guys, we really appreciate it if you rate and review on any of the platforms where you listen to this, even if it's Apple or whatever. You scroll to the bottom, punch that 5 stars, give it an old thumbs up. Anything like that helps. Patreon.com/Autastic.
That's right.
Dollars pay for this fancy lighting setup, and we're gonna poster someday.
Maybe we'll get a bigger iPad. We'll get a poster.
TV.
We're thinking we should get a poster, put it behind for the YouTube viewers.
Just a giant autism poster in my living room. Perfect.
Yeah. Didn't have a lot of viewers, but if you are listening, give us a subscribe on YouTube. Go to Autastic. Just Google up, put Autastic in the YouTube bar. We'll come right up, and give us a subscribe. It's free. Helps us out.
Yeah. As always, the biggest way you can do it is share with your friends. Word of mouth is the way this podcast started, and
Yes.
it really gave us the biggest boost. You have somebody that might enjoy this, a special ed teacher, a brother, a family member, a neighbor.
We have a lot of special ed teachers.
Yeah.
I remember that time I went to a bar, and then this is like my friend, and she and he's like, and she was like, "Are you Graham K from the Autastic podcast?" She's like, "I'm in special ed." And I was like, "Wow."
You're like, I am.
I am Graham K. Get away from me. Just immediately my head gets too big. One fan.
She's like, "Oh, are you Graham K?" I am from Autastic Podcast. Yeah, your car's blocking me in. Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah. You're parked like someone who doesn't understand dimensions. Oh.
Support us as always if you use any of the social media. This is at Graham K Comedy, Instagram K on Instagram, and what is your Twitter?
Mr. Graham K.
Mr. Graham K.
But I'm no longer Graham K Comedy for my website. It's just grahamk.com.
I gotta keep up.
Some guy bought grahamk.com and made me pay for it, like $300. He's like a friend of a comedian. My friend was like, "I don't think he did it on purpose." I'm like, "Oh yeah?" He just bought grahamk.com to help me out. I'm gonna beat that guy with a bat.
Guys, this cannot be considered evidence because this is what's called for entertainment purposes only.
This
That was
is
a
art.
joke. That was a joke. He's not going to beat anybody. That's it, guys. Have a great week. You can do it.